Hey, welcome everybody to the January 5th, 2023 regular planning board meeting. And seeing that we have a quorum, if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you. And a statement we read at the start of each planning board meeting. I'll read it aloud and each planning board member will respond. Does any member of the planning board have a conflict of interest or the appearance of a conflict of interest with regard to any item on the agenda? And if so, please state so at this time. Richard?
I do not.
Ron?
Nope.
I do not.
I do not.
I do not.
Okay, thank you all. We have an agenda in front of us that has a couple of items on it. Does anybody wish to amend the agenda? And if not, can I have a motion to accept the agenda as submitted?
So move to approve?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Public comments on any agenda items today? Seeing that we have people in the audience, anybody wish to make any public comments on agenda items? Okay. There'll be public comments at the end of the meeting, sir, that you can make on non-agenda items. The first item we have is the consideration, number 4, is consideration of approval of past planning board minutes. October 20th, 2022, we had a special meeting of the planning board. Does anybody have any comments regarding those draft minutes in front of you? Anyone? I had a comment, and Katie, you and I might have already talked about this, or maybe it's something that was an oversight, because usually I look at the minutes in advance, and I don't know if I looked at the ones for October 20th before, but that really doesn't matter. On the second page, which would be packet page for this meeting that we're in right now, packet page number 3, there's a section 3.6L2, and it talks about ground-mounted solar energy systems shall be prohibited within the 50-foot lot line and behind primary structures. It was my recollection that that the spirit of that comment that we had, or the discussion we had, is that we didn't want ground-mounted solar energy systems within 50 foot of a lot line. But I don't know that and we didn't want them in the front yards. But the way it's written here, I don't know that it's clear.
Yeah, it should be maybe like must be behind primary structure. Might be missing.
Yeah, and what I suggested is that after the word within, that's in red, we strike the word the, and we say within 50 foot of the lot line. Now, we also talked about the lot needed to be a half acre, but I wasn't totally convinced, even after going and looking at the video, as to whether we all agreed that the lot needed to be a minimum of a half an acre.
Yeah, but was it by zoning district?
Well, we didn't talk about a specific zoning district.
I don't remember. Because AF1 is a minimum of 1 acre, right?
For the lot size, yes. Yeah. But what I'd like to do is change the wording here to say within, then strike the word the, and say within 50 foot of the lot line, and must be behind the primary structures.
I think those two almost make it by default a necessity for a quarter-acre lot.
Or
more.
Or more. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because in our zoning districts that have less than a half acre lot, it's a 25-foot setback for the primary residence, and I don't think they're going to put the primary residence off kilter to make room for a solar panel. I don't want to belabor this.
Yeah, because we'll get another. Let's Chad make a note or something.
And we still
because we get a second pass at that
we
one.
do.
The whole thing,
We do.
I guess, is also.
But I just don't want the minutes to be,
Right.
I think they're unclear here right now. I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept the wording as I've suggested for the amendment of those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that's, I had nothing with those minutes. Any more comments? Item number 4.2 is December 1st, regular meeting minutes, and I had no
Can
comments.
we go, I'm sorry, can we go back to November 3rd?
November 3rd is not one of the ones in question here on this agenda.
Well, it was in my packet. It's a minor thing on 408.
Well,
I didn't get it November 3rd. We supposed to do November 3rd?
no, November 3rd was not a part of this. I thought we had already approved November 3rd in a prior meeting.
It's part of our packet, Pete.
Pardon me?
It's part of our packet.
No, I didn't get one.
I didn't, it wasn't
Yeah.
I
in
didn't
mine.
get one.
November 3rd, regular minutes meeting?
No,
Yeah.
wasn't in
That's all right.
mine.
It's a minor thing. It's in the 408 section. It's a typo. A minimum 25 ARE
4.2.
contiguous should be acre.
Page 6.
Instead of AR, it should be acre.
Yep.
See,
Okay, that's housekeeping.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
I have no objection, even though that's
Oh.
not on the agenda.
I didn't.
yeah, I think.
Sybil, do you have that set of minutes in your packet?
Yeah. Actually,
Four,
it's
four,
right there.
4.2.
Yeah,
It's on page-
4.08 B2, packet page 6, page 2, and I mean it's being struck from the UDO, but in the minutes it's
On top.
That's a packet page from
Oh,
another.
I see what you, no, that's the December 1st meeting minutes.
oh okay, yes.
Yes, so it's being struck,
Sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, so it is the, okay, we're all on the same page now, then. It
It's the
is,
December 1st meeting, but what confused them, it's referencing the November.
Right at the top of the page. That's right.
because at that meeting, we revised minutes from the November meeting.
Yes,
Okay, and where was your point, Richard?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's on page 2,
Yes,
section 4.08 B2. It reads, within mainland residential zoning districts, a minimum of 25 ARE.
wasn't that whole thing struck?
Yeah, it was struck, but I think it should be consistent in the minutes that word should be acre.
ACRE. You're on
We're on-
packet page 6.
Or this minute?
Packet page 6,
And-
section 408B2.
The reason there was confusion is that it's the minutes from the December 1st meeting, but we were talking about approval of a prior minutes at that meeting.
Yeah.
And so we're on packet page 6, all the way down towards the bottom where 4.08 Bravo 2 has been struck. And Richard says that after the number 25, it shouldn't say ARE, it should say acre. I contend that it's been struck anyway, but I have no issue
Yeah,
with,
it's-
Yeah, I mean, it's a typo.
Yeah.
You see the word there?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, any other comments on the December 1st meeting minutes?
I went
No.
there.
I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes as adjusted by Richard's word acre on packet page
I
6.
so move.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay, the last minutes, for which would be on consideration approval of minutes, would be number 4.3, December 15th. Anybody have any comments on those minutes?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay,
Well, tongue in cheek, I still don't agree with the laundromat being the BB1.
okay.
So it's
Let's
just,
show us where that is in the minutes,
it's
please.
on page 9, 4.3, page 9, top laundromat, add as accessory structure in BB1.
Yes,
I just want to be noted, I still strongly disagree with that. That's
okay.
all.
We voted on that, I think,
Correct.
and you did not
Just-
prevail.
You get a second crack at it when we do
I
the whole
know,
thing.
I am going to take
Maybe
it.
maybe you can change our mind.
All right.
Good.
Any other comments on the December 15th minutes?
No.
I have something to add. The chair made an error in the December 15th meeting. And if you go to packet page 8, first page of those December 15th minutes, and you go to item number Roman numeral 2, amendment and approval of the draft agenda, you'll see that there's been no action taken on that. I missed that as the chair in seeking a resolution to accept the minutes and or accept the draft agenda, and just blew right by it. However, I would submit that there was nothing on that agenda that day that I think would need to be changed. It was a special meeting, and we were only doing the UDO audit. So there was nothing peripheral that we were discussing in that meeting that I think we'd need to have adjusted the agenda for. All right,
That's my recollection.
we'll let that slide. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. All right, under new business.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
did you make a motion to approve that last set?
Oh, sorry. Thank you. That would have been an error on an error. I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the December 15th minutes in the draft form as submitted.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Chad. Moving on to new business, we have site plan review for Las Palmeras. Chad, would you open up the discussions on that, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Norris and Tunstall Consulting Engineering, applicant on behalf of Seaside Pacific Ventures LLC, who is the owner, is requesting the approval of a full-service standalone restaurant. Subject property is located in the mixed-use district at the corner of Seaside Road, Highway 904, and High Market Street in Sunset Beach. The restaurant will contain 128 total seats, all seats inside. There are 50 proposed parking spaces in accordance with the total seats in the restaurant. Parking is calculated one space by every 3 seats, so 128 divided by 3 equals 43 parking spaces. 50 are proposed, and the gross area of the restaurant is 5,800 square feet. Based on the review, the proposed site plan in accordance with the provisions of the town's UDO, all necessary information has been provided in the town as a prerequisite to the town planning board approval. If you have any questions for me, I can certainly answer them. And the applicant, Mr. Norris, is in the audience today.
Great. Just as an opening comment, I think it's very convenient and certainly a benefit that Norris and Tunstall, the consulting engineers, is doing the work on both adjacent restaurants that are there. And that should eliminate a lot of confusion. So that's really the only comment I had. I read through in detail all the site plan requirements and the comments from town staff. I had no comments or no questions that came from that. I had asked Chad in private session or private phone call regarding some of the items that we're involved with here, such as the Gateway Corridor project and stormwater management, and he was able to satisfy the questions that I had regarding that. Anybody on the board have a comment or question?
I have a couple of questions. Chad, you and I.
Do we need to get the applicant to the podium, or
We may.
Okay.
Chad and I had a discussion, and I'm quite pleased to learn that the sidewalk will be contiguous with the now defunct Strawberry Kingdom sidewalk.
it's not defunct, it's just closed for the season?
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Because we had heard it had been abandoned, but that's good to know.
Possibly.
While they're closed, who's responsible for maintaining the sidewalk?
The property owners.
Well, they're not doing it. So the other concern that I had, and we talked about this at the last meeting, what is the status of a sidewalk that would connect the sidewalk of the sanctuary that just ends on 904 and goes nowhere to that commercial center that's now being built along 904? You got a little gleam in your eye when we discussed it, as if that was something that we should look into.
If we could, let's talk about that after the meeting.
Okay. The second issue.
Is there a question specifically for the applicant here regarding his
No,
property?
no,
It's not on his property, I'm assuming you're saying.
no, it's
Okay.
not. But I'm concerned that, we keep building these sidewalks to nowhere. And I think in terms of trying to satisfy the land use plan, one of whose goals is to make this area more walkable, sometimes we have to figure out how to connect the dots. The next question I have is, how late will this place stay open? I mean, there's a standard time in the Mud District, correct, or no?
Well,
Not that I'm aware of.
the Mud District controls that, and of course, we as a town control noise ordinances beyond 10 o'clock at night and beyond certain decibels. But
There's no subsidiary regulation that prohibits them from being open, say, till 11.
the Mud
Correct.
District controls their community. And just like Las Palmeras that we're talking about here is open until 11 o'clock at night where they're located, in the Food Lion conglomerate, I wouldn't see any reason why they wouldn't be open until 11 o'clock at night, at least, or later.
Mr.
when
Chairman,
they're
if I may, the POA and HOA can put further restrictions on entities to operate. The town would have no such. Again, this is a by right project, so if it meets the standards, we're obligated to approve it. But also, if the applicant is willing to put that on himself, you can ask him. It's not required. That would be, if we were in a special use situation, that's one of the things that could be considered. But we are not in a special use type hearing. We are in this is a by right project in a review.
And the Mud District has in there 5 different zones, if you will, has their own formulas for what is appropriate business, what is appropriate architecture,
Hours of operation, et
yes,
cetera.
all of that, operation standards.
Okay.
But this is in the seaside area of the Mud District, and restaurants are encouraged in that area.
Right. And I guess my other question is, why was the Seaside HOA consulted and why was their approval required?
I didn't know that Seaside was even
In the comments.
part of this. Is there a comment?
Well,
on
there
that?
was a note in there that the HOA from
So the
Seaside.
email was attached, right? The
Oh,
Village of Sunset
that's the
Beach.
Village of Sunset Beach, which is,
Okay.
and that's I'll call it the real estate entity that kind of oversees all of the Mud District.
Okay.
And so as they put together a plan here for Las Palmeras, they then had to present that to make to the Mud District, but that has nothing to do with the sanctuary or Seaside or.
Right.
Yeah.
The term
I guess-
HOA was used in the blurb. I think that's what threw me off. But now I understand.
Okay.
All right.
I guess, maybe Corey, not to spend time. I see we just accepted an email saying that it was approved by whoever the regulatory.
Yeah, David
Should we
Stewart.
have just a little better procedure
I
where they
can,
provide the sign? Usually there's a,
I can request a letter from
I mean, in
David
general.
Kelly. Yeah. I mean,
I mean, not that I question Dave is probably not,
Yeah.
But it
sure,
seems-
they're happy as a clam, but
but I mean, should the town require the signed approval
Yeah,
documents?
in the
for
future,
file?
I'll just ask for a letter. I've done it before, and I'm
Right.
sure they've gotten me one. It's just the email I got attached to this, so you can put that on me.
yeah.
No, well, I mean.
Well, you can.
I mean, in general, they're
requested.
probably telling the, I mean, that's probably, I'm sure it's absolutely truthful, but just as a matter of the file and the permanent record that you have.
Well, he does state that he's the registered agent in the.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it also went to Eric Frankovich, who is the actual owner of that
Right.
property.
but I would think they would have some sort of signed documents, just like most.
Sure.
You submit to build something and the HOA comes back and signs off that you're approved and there's a piece of paper that goes in the file.
Yeah.
Well, and
Whatever.
you brought up a good point because the email does just reference a copy of sheet C1, but it doesn't give a date. It doesn't give what C1
Right.
title is. C1 could be anything.
So
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's just kind of like a clerical.
Can you follow through on that, Chad, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well,
Good point.
just for the
Good point.
record, as a frequent customer of Las Palmeras, congratulations, and we look forward to the expansion of your
Yeah.
restaurant. I hope it works out well for you.
I don't have any real comments or questions beyond that.
Yeah.
All right. Is
I'm
there
done.
any formality? I don't see anything in the package where I think we just vote to accept
That's correct.
the preliminary site plan.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Couple questions.
Please.
If you
Go.
Yeah, no,
you illustrate on C1 the covered patio. Is that going to be used in the future for outdoor seating?
Sir, could you come up to the podium, please? Because this is recorded and the audience on YouTube will be able to now hear you.
My name is Phil Norris with Norris and Tunstall Consulting Engineers, and I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not the architect for the building.
There's,
My
as-
assumption is that all the seating is inside.
Yeah.
But that's an
I can see
assumption.
that, and I see Flipper McKee's has migrated outside too as well for outside seating. I just want to make sure that if they do have covered seating in a covered area,
Is-
there's enough
yeah, I
parking
see.
spots.
Is that where the front door is?
It's
Yeah.
on the front door
Front door
side.
So that's like a covered,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's called a covered patio.
So they do have, they're required 43 parking spaces,
I
and they
understand.
have allotted 50. So there is room
Four.
that
I
if
just-
they
Four outdoor
wanted
seats.
to
I
do
just
that,
want to
they
make sure the
could.
board's aware of that's a potential. All right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and to be
The,
honest, it doesn't raise any concerns for me.
And Chad, sometimes okay, I'm from the north, you can tell, but I find it ironic that we still allow for site improvements prior to any site improvements prep work.
There's
prior
not
to-
been any done on that.
All the
there's-
prep work has been done is on La Cachina.
Yeah.
There's a lack of change.
Yeah.
The only thing that they've
Okay.
done is they've stored some structural steel, I
I see
think,
some.
on La
Yeah,
Cachina.
and that's not Los Palmeras either. That's the Italian restaurant.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's what I mean, is the Italian restaurant has stored,
Okay.
with, I guess, permission,
All right.
some structural steel there, but there's been no grading. I drove it the other day.
Okay,
There's
I
been
did
no
as well,
grading
so,
or
okay, thank you for that
disturbance.
clarification.
No.
One last question. You illustrate a loading zone in the back. Is there enough space to bring in a tractor trailer with a 52
No, sir.
foot trailer?
It would be a box truck.
Strictly a box. Okay, thank you.
Is that where it would back in towards the dumpster? Is that the
Yeah.
area you're looking at?
Yeah.
Any other questions
No, I'm
from
fine.
the board? Sybil, any
No.
comments, questions?
No.
All right, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for a nice package. So Chad, it would just be a motion to accept the application
That's correct.
for the,
So no consistency statement, nothing like that. Just be a straightforward vote.
now we're not calling this a preliminary site plan, we're calling this a major site plan.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the major site plan submitted at today's meeting by Norris and Tunsdale as the applicant.
I so move to accept.
I so second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous? You noted?
Do we
Thanks,
have any
Phil.
expectation of when you guys will be up and running?
I don't know the exact construction schedule. This is actually the last approval that we need. We have our stormwater permits. Everything else is in hand. So I would imagine the town will be seeing the building permit application coming in very soon. I know the owner is anxious to get it built, so I'm sure he's going to have it built as soon as he can.
Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the next item in new business, we have the final site plan, a final plat review, for Eastwood Bluffs, a one singular building, number 20. Chad, can you give us some background on that, please?
Yes, sir. Riptide Builders applicant and owners requesting the final plat for approval for phase 4 of Eastwood Bluff. This would not be the final plat. There's 10 more left, or 10 more buildings to go. This is a final plat approval will grant permission to construct and operate building 20 for a multifamily residential unit in the Cetro community. The subject property is located off of Eastwood Park Road. The subject property is approximately 11.4 acres in size. Staff has reviewed and approved the final plat to be reviewed by the planning board for final approval. Attached to staff's comments as review for the final plat prior to issuance of a zoning permit. Based on the staff review, the proposed site plan is in accordance with the provisions of the town's UDO. All necessary information has been provided to the town as a prerequisite to the planning board staff and then planning board's approval.
Okay, thank you, Chad. One comment I had, and it's a comment that reoccurs every time because of the outdated wording in our UDO, but if the board would look at packet page 32, and it's at the last item number G6 at the bottom. It keeps referencing that sewer line extensions by the town, and for the record, the town no longer
County.
owns or controls the water or sewer system. It is totally done by the county. I just didn't want our citizens thinking that we approve the sewer lines as a town staff. Todd, could you approach the podium for a couple of questions, please? And you know the introduction requirements.
Todd Rademacher, Riptide Builders, 279 Clubhouse Road.
Great. It's not specific to this building, but it's specific to the Eastwood Bluffs development.
Sure.
I'd like an update from you on the entrance that comes onto Eastwood Bluff Road, I guess it's called, and how
Eastwood Park Road.
Eastwood Park Road, and how the drainage has it improved? Has it changed since you put in that lateral drain across that entrance?
Well, we're still waiting for rain, since it doesn't rain in southeastern North Carolina anymore. But yes, in the rain events that we have had, we did put a drain across that driveway, which exceeded the requirements of the state stormwater permit.
We appreciate that.
Yep. And thank you. We've also started tying, as the buildings have been getting completed, all those buildings at the top of the hill, so to speak, have been getting tied into the actual stormwater system.
The downspouts.
Yes, sir. All of them. And if you drive past it, you might see Bartley's excavating out there, and they're installing underground piping from each building. That piping runs to the catch basins that are out on the side of the road and tie in underneath, and then that water goes directly out into the pond in the back, which is a stormwater pond for Eastwood Bluff and the Birdwatch subdivision as well.
Okay.
So yeah, there's definitely been an improvement, and we'll continue to see stormwater improvements continuing as the buildings get finished up as was intended. But yeah, I haven't, honestly, knock on wood, I haven't had any phone calls or emails after any of the rain events. Based on my checking back with some of the neighbors in the area after the rain events, I haven't seen or any flooding. The big issue in that part of Sea Trail is, probably like everywhere in Sunset Beach, is pine needles going over all the drain culverts and stuff like that, and having a maintenance program to make sure that things stay uncovered so the water can go down where it's supposed to. But things are in the positive direction.
And we're also excited about that road eventually going on through to your other
Us
development
too.
through there. That will be helpful for everyone.
Very helpful. Very helpful.
Does
So
anybody-
it's not, that road isn't going to empty out on Angel's Trace.
No, the long-term plan for Eastwood Park Road, as part of the Pelican Watch subdivision that I guess the board approved a couple months ago.
Yeah.
It ties into Mill Pond Road. Mill Pond Road connects to Angel's Trace Road. Eastwood Park Road connects to Mill Pond Road, and it runs out, and you'll have another main gate, as it were, coming into
Angel's
Sea Trail.
Trace is a secondary opening. There's other ways to vacate access and egress from that area to get away.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, you can go. Yes.
Does that include Angel Trace Road, or does that mean they come up Mill Pond Road and get out in front of the clubhouse?
Mill Pond Road eventually will extend all the way to Angel's Trace Road. Eastwood Park Road will extend all the way to Mill Pond Road. So you'll obviously have all the ingress egress points of the existing subdivision, and then you'll be adding an additional point off of Angel's Trace Road and Mill Pond Road, which will let residents have, probably more than likely residents will travel different directions to get off of Eastwood Park Road, coming from the single family homes or Eastwood Park Road, or excuse me, the Eastwood Townhomes.
Yeah, I know this is a little off subject, but I just get very concerned about Angel Trace Road because it's a hot mess. And I drove back there the other day, and they had a lock and a chain on it.
Yeah, that's correct. That's a privately maintained road by multiple ownership groups, not just Riptide Builders, but also the group that owns a. I can get into this later if you want to.
The county goes back there frequently. for
Yeah, the
storm-
county doesn't want the public A going to their sewer plant
Yes.
or B going to where it's washed out on Bill Clark's property, where it's unsafe.
But you're right, it is blocked.
Yeah.
Except for
But I believe
people
the
that have a
town
right
and
to
all
be
the
there.
parties involved have full intentions of reopening that road and getting it because
Repaving it?
that is the long term. I can't speak for the other
Okay.
builders.
Alright.
Back to the task at hand, I move that we accept their plan.
Okay, any other comments from anybody regarding this
No, I'm
plan?
good.
And I agree. It's, I'd like to entertain a motion that
I'd so
we,
move.
I second.
that we accept, the final plat plan for Eastwood Bluffs Building Number 20. Did we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, the last item of business on today's agenda, Chad, I'll turn it over to you. It has to do with consideration of rescheduling the February 16th meeting.
That's correct. So we have a staffing conflict for the second meeting, the UDO meeting in February. We just need this meeting or the first one in February to figure out a date. But I've spoke with Wes this morning. His calendar is very busy the following week because our meeting is on the 16th of February. He has proposed the date that could work for him would be the 9th, if that would work for everybody. As of right now, I don't know what is on the agenda for the March meeting. I would say we could just double up in March, but that could change. So I don't want to bank on that. Right now, I don't really have that much coming down the pipeline except for a potentially a preliminary and final 5-lot subdivision that could potentially come to you in February, but I don't know what would come before you in March. Again, I can't bank on being able to double up in March, but if the 9th would work, that would be 2 Thursdays right in a row. But staff would make it work. Wes could be here. Katie and Lisa will be out of town for a national clerks conference. It's closest it's been.
But not on the 9th.
Not on the 9th. It's the 16th and 17th.
So I think what you're saying is we may or may not have a regular meeting on the 2nd. It depends on what the agenda would look like.
That's correct.
And you're suggesting that the UDO meeting that we have, which is our second meeting, be changed to the 9th. The
Yes.
9th is fine with me.
It's fine with me.
I'm fine with tonight.
I'm fine with it.
I'm good.
All right.
All right, let's,
You just need to make a motion to change it from the 16th to the
Okay.
9th.
I'd like
But one-
Katie, does that work
just-
for you?
I think I know the answer, but we'll maintain the schedule
Going
of
forward.
March 2nd and
Yes,
March 16th.
That is correct.
Okay,
The only
great.
one we're moving up is the UDO meeting on the 16th.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion that we change the meeting for the UDO to be a planning board meeting on the 9th of February, which is a Thursday at 9 a.m. here in council chambers.
I so move.
At 9:30?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, sorry.
Okay. I'm going- no.
I didn't mean to say 9:30 if I did, excuse me.
I so move.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting is now changed.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, thank you. Now, item number 6 is public comments on whatever you want to talk about that's pertinent to the planning board.
You're it.
Please, sir,
Welcome.
can we see your ticket? Yes. Name and address, please.
Good morning. My name is Mike Shannon, 478 Sandpiper Bay Drive, Sandpiper Bay Community. I've been here about 2 years. Forgive me if I'm a little bit jarbled here, but when I woke up this morning, I didn't plan to be here. But I've been thinking about this for a while. The Sunset Beach website lists 3 places that you can launch kayaks. If you don't know, you probably do, that kayak, recreational fishing, paddle boards, canoes is the fastest growing water sport in the last 2 decades in terms of recreational water sports. The sites that are listed, although you can launch a kayak there, have some problems. The one that's listed is the Sunset Beach Town Park, which is on Sunset Boulevard North. And there's no indication there of where that site might be. If you walk around the park, you can't find it. There's no structured ramps, no signs or anything like that. But you can get a kayak out there, and it's a good sup boards, paddle boards, canoes, whatever, if you portage across the park and go out into a little shallow area that's probably going to be dredged soon. The public boat ramp is also listed as number 2. High traffic area, and you're competing with some big boats and trailers there. Most kayakers, recreational paddle boards, they don't want to do that. You get run over. The third one is the curve at Shoreline Drive and Beach Drive, which is near the Regency. There's no way without going out in public or private property that you can conceivably launch from that site, even though that's a good site because there's a paddle trail right across in Bonaparte Creek. Would be a great area if you could get off. The other thing is it's a high traffic area. There's no wake zone there, and that's basically a danger from that site.
And you're parking on private property too, so.
Yeah.
it's-
Yes, that's private property there.
I
So-
just broke one of our rules. We're not supposed to deliberate, but
Right.
just for the record.
So there's some problems with that. So the infrastructure hasn't been developed in those areas, and it could be developed in a good way that would reflect positively on the planning board, the council, and the town park. And I would like to recommend a small committee or some subset of you people here investigate what could be done using low cost, high impact, and high visibility for the residents in Sunset Beach. I think that would be a great addition to what's planned. There's some plans, as you both know, an infamous Majestic Oak property to do something there that could be incorporated in there. Plus, I think there's a couple of other sites that do have possibilities, such as the end of Seaside Drive Southwest, which the road goes down there, and that's a good site. There may be others as well. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate
Thank you,
your
Mike.
comments. And just as there are several sites that are being looked at in the town, on town property that we're able to control. The Regency happens to be one that's a state road going through there. That is advertised as a kayak launching platform by the state of North Carolina,
Right.
not necessarily by the town of Sunset Beach.
So is there someone looking into this thing
Well, not in that area, but in other areas.
in
yes,
other areas?
yes.
Could I have a contact name? That would be helpful.
If you'll stick around, I'll get your contact information.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments, Mike.
Yeah,
Thanks.
fantastic. Thank you, Mike.
All right. Any
One
other?
additional point before we adjourn is, which talked to, I'm not going to be at the next UDO meeting on the 19th, but I have provided the chair a copy of my notes.
Thank you, sir.
And the chair and you and Wes can decide if and how to incorporate that
Okay.
into.
Thank you for that, Jess.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd appreciate a copy of that, however we dispense it.
All right. I'd like to entertain a motion that we adjourn.
I so move.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.